Hello, everybody. Hi, hi,
Hi.
hi. Happy Monday. Here in America, it's Martin Luther King's Day. Today is Martin Luther King's birthday. So it's a holiday
Oh,
out here in America. Yes. Julie is fighting with her headphones. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. Today we're going to talk about how to set SMART goals, right? And then we added, are they really smart? How to set SMART goals. Different people have different opinions on setting goals. Most of us in school have been taught SMART goals, which if you look up the meaning means what? It's an acronym, SMART, S for specific, M for measurable, A for actionable, R for realistic. And I oppose realistic goals. And T for time bound. Time bound is actually very powerful. So today we're going to delve into this, and I'm going to pass it on to Juliet. Miss Julie.
I thought it's Fady that is gonna start. Fady, can you hear me?
We can
Hello?
hear.
yes, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. You can hear?
Yeah, please, can you start? Can you start?
Okay.
Yeah.
Hello, good day, good day, everyone. Morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you're watching us from. I hope you can see this lovely face this new year. Can you?
Yes, yes, we can see you.
Sure? Okay, okay. All right. So we're starting 2024 in a different with a different spirit, with a positive spirit. But then what do you really have? What are you bringing to the table in 2024? 2023, there were some things you did. We are looking at it towards you attaining a dream, attaining a goal that you have set for yourself, be it business, be it career, be it a school, whatever you feel you want to dive into. What are those goals? How do you set them? How do you see them being achievable? One thing I've realized is this. Whenever you have an urge or you have a passion for something, you pen it down. I'll use myself as an example. The baking world that I find myself now has been a passion I had when I was in secondary school. And it was a help of my home economics teacher then, food and from from junior class to the higher class. Excuse me. From the junior class, I really loved, working when it comes to home economics, cleaning the house, making everything. I was like, okay, this is nice. But, my mind wasn't on to it. Secondary school was when I actually got a glimpse of it. Because then my secondary school food and nutrition teacher will always ensure that she calls me. She always sees that, there is something you see in your students and you're like, no, this one is going to do far, far better. So whenever she has jobs, she calls me to come and do some decoration on the cake for her. Then not advanced, but at least the little ones I know, I will do it. And when it was now time for us, I think we're having an exam, and she saw me, doing a lot of decoration for other classmates. She now told me then, she was like, because I was called Biodun in school, Biodun, I would see what you are going to bring on board to me. This time around, you are teaching all your friends, giving them all your ideas. You know, it did not really dawn on me then that I've already had that thing that I wanted to do for myself. I studied microbiology. After finishing studying microbiology, I was into lab research and all that. But one day I sat down and I was like, I want to have my own bakery. I had a diary. I had a diary after my service year that I wrote out everything I wanted. I wrote everything down. I still have my diary up to today. So it's a guide for me. I used to check it. So I'm just using myself as an example. You can't bring up a topic and not have, something at the back of your mind for you to tell people that, no, this is what I did and it's worked for me. Though there are some people that it might not work for.
Mhm.
Do you understand? There are some people that, fine, your goal is different from another person. Your perspective about it is different.
Yeah.
The way you carry it out is different because it's not the person's vision. It's
Mhm.
not what the person is running with. So whatever goal you are trying to set for yourself, you try as much as possible, you run with it, but make it written. When you write down a goal, it makes it easier for you to always go there and like, no, I have not yet achieved this. And not achieving it does not mean you cannot achieve it. It might take time, but definitely you will achieve it. Once your heart is there, that yes, I want to attain this, definitely you will achieve it. Over to you.
Yes, absolutely. This is why I said that, I oppose realistic goals, right? Because what you're talking about, Shidi, that's exactly it. Because when you were in school and you were dreaming about being this person and doing what you are doing now, realistically, your teacher could have said, listen, what you want to do, you cannot achieve. It's not possible,
Sure.
right? Realistically, your teacher could have said that, but they didn't. They helped you, they pushed you, they moved you forward. Even when you talk about writing down the goals, right? That's part of 10x in your life. You 10x your goals. So the work that you put in will push you forward, it will move you forward. And that is why when I set goals, I don't set realistic goals because I always have at the back of my mind this quote that says, if your goals don't scare you, you are doing something wrong.
Something wrong.
Mm.
Your goals have to scare you. And if you look at SMART goals, right, it's talking about, especially they are realistic, measurable goals that you can measure. There's a lot of things I've achieved in my life right now that if I was realistic and actually measured them, I could have talked myself out of it. And one of the books that I love and I wrote it down is The Magic of Thinking Big. There's also another one, The Greatest Secret in the World. I've listened to The Greatest Secret in the World over and over, probably more than 20 times. That the audiobook itself was given to me by my first sales manager when I started working for him. And what he would do is he would make copies, CDs of this book and have it in his office. And any person he meets, he will give them one. Now, when you think big and you open your mind to possibilities, which Fide just explained, you write down the things that you want. You are able to visualize them because when you write things down, something happens in your mind, right? You input it more in your mind, but it also expands you. As you write it down, you can visualize it happening. And so when people talk about SMART goals, I think the first time I heard about SMART goals, I was in college. And I've already started the spiritual journey. And I was reading people like Napoleon Hill. I was reading these two books that I mentioned. There's this other guy that I forgot his name. He does sales. Brian Tracy. he talks about setting goals a lot. So these are people that I was watching and I was listening to, and I was setting all these big goals. And right now, my camera, yes. Right now, I am in a campus, online campus, content creation and artificial intelligence. The campus is about 200 plus thousand students, the entire online campus. And in our content creation and AI campus is about 20,000 plus students, and every day people are joining. And I joined that campus not long ago. And now I have gone to the position of being a captain, which means I am part of the people that help other students come in and navigate the school. Not just that, but I review and handle a section that is for personal branding and building brands. Realistically, I'm not supposed to be that person there. If I was looking at SMART goals and being realistic about my goals, one, because the school is predominantly men, I am a woman. Two, a lot of the people they are editors, they're very technical, they use artificial intelligence, and I know how to prompt and use AI, right? I can talk about it, but I'm not really interested in it. Editing is not my strongest suit. This is what I can do. I can do live. And the moment I started talking about this, our professor was like, I would like you to join my team. And right now, that professor, he is editing for one of the best influencers or influencer currently right now in the United States, one of the biggest. He is editing their ads. So I mostly disagree to agree with SMART goals. I believe that when you are setting your goals, you have to visualize the person that you want to be, because it's possible that person is already within you. And if you visualize that person, you know where you want to live, the type of car you want to drive, who you would be, how you would talk. This person here, me today, I visualized years ago. But if I was measuring my goals and being realistic at that point where I was traumatized and there was no family helping me, there was no mother I can talk to, there was no father I can talk to, there was no friends, there was nobody around me who was seeing the world that the way that I was seeing it, I wouldn't have been able to grow to be this woman, this lady, whatever you call it, that I am today. I would have been stuck in that mindset that I had years ago, right? So when you open your mind, I go back to that book, The Magic of Thinking Big, The Magic of Thinking Big. And I give it to you, Julie.
Okay.
Juliet. I always call you Julie.
Okay.
I think we all find Julie much easier.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. First and foremost, I would love to define goals. Then I will now have to define the smart goals. Okay. First, goal or goals are your set of ambitions or desires you wish to attain or achieve. So, well, when it comes to smart goals, first, like she mentioned earlier, the goals have to go through these 5 stages. That's the SMART. Smart. So these 5 stages are broken down into different categories, which I'm going to explain. So the S is specific, which this means you have to know when and what and why. So which simply means, okay, what is your goal? Like you want to achieve a goal, like what kind of goal you want to achieve. You have to be specific on the type of goal. There are different kind of goal, like you want to read a book, you want to become an author, you want to take a certain course at a certain time, or you want to lose weight, or you want to gain fat. Different kind of goals. And these goals are attainable depending on how you classify them. So I'm going to bring the classification of goals much later. So now let's move to the next one, which is M. It's measurable. You have to measure. Oh, no. I go back to when. So you have to set a specific time or day or months or weeks or years or maybe time indefinite, or you don't know what's in the future. You set this time, you know when you want to achieve it. Let's say I want to buy a car and a specific amount of money. Then I say, okay, every month I'm going to be saving maybe 30% from my salary. Yeah. I specify the amount I'm getting. Like I put it there. Okay, let's say I getting so amount of money, and then I take 30% or maybe 10% from the salary. Then every month it's specific. I can't just say I want to buy a car and that is it. I don't set a time. I don't set a specific amount for the month I want to be saving. So that it's not a specific goal you get. Then the next one has to be with why. Why do I need a car? Okay, I need a car because for me to go to my workplace, I pay so much money to transport myself from there to there. So looking at it that, okay, transportation is equivalent to me saving myself from saving myself to get to work on time, and as well saving money, because if I put those money in place, it's going to help me in the long run to also gain more access to mobility and effective management. Now let's move to the other one, which is A. What is gonna achievable, attainable, anyone you can call.
Actionable.
Actionable, exactly. So yeah, anyone you want to call it, attainable, actionable, achievable, all of them fall under this A. So your goal has to be something that you can, sometimes you can say, like, I want to
It's breaking. It's breaking.
This can now fall under another segment, yeah, but it's still, yeah. So it fall another into another segment. So for this actionable one, you are like, okay, I really want to buy this car, so I'm taking action to do this. So I'm setting things in place. How am I going to do this thing? How am I going to buy this car? So that is what the actionable, the attainable, the achievable aspect is all about: setting the goals and how you are going to attain that goal. Then the next one is the arrow, which is realistic, reliable, or what relevant. So it's almost like the A. So your goal has to be relevant. It has to be realistic. It has to be reliable. Relevant in the sense that it has to be what you really need. So if your goal is not what you really need, then you shouldn't even call it a goal. Let's say, for instance, I don't need the car. Then why do I want to buy the car? It's going to be a liability, yeah? So I have the reason to buy this car. That is why I'm buying it. So the reason for me buying that car is the, what do they call it? Reliable, relevant move I'm trying to make. So it doesn't affect other objective of my goals. It doesn't affect other things that I need to do. Let's take, for instance, I want to buy that car and I have some other things to put money into. I'm already putting myself into trouble. So realistic goals and reliable goal is already set, ascertained for me. Then the next one is the T, which is the last one. This T can be time bound. It has to be now or in the 2 weeks, or it could be for days, it could be for months, it could be for the future. But time bound simply means there is time for setting the time. Always gives you this edge of trying to keep up with the goal, trying to see if you actually did it or you did not. Then you look for a way which you can break the goals into pieces and into bits procedures, and look at how you can finish and acquire that goal. So that is why time bound is actually necessary. So if I say I want to buy a car in 6 months, I already measured everything right from the top from the specific to the T. So buying a car next year is attainable for me. It's because of the time band. So now let's move to the difference between the long goal and the short goal. I'm going to end it here, so I give it to the next. So if I want to set a goal, I have to set a specific goal for the time of short goals. Could be for weeks, could be for months, it could be for quarterly. Then long goals actually could be for years and also in the future. So when setting goals, always put this in mind. Those five letters which I explained, and also the time conscious. Then another additional tip I would like to give is accountability partner. Because most times when we set goals, we are not accountable to anyone, so we feel so reluctant. We feel, I will do it later. But when you set the goal and let somebody be accountable for your goals, it could be online community, it could even be your spouse, it could be your family member, someone you can trust and respect. You don't just tell your child like, hey, baby girl, or your son that I want to set a goal and hold you accountable. How is he going to hold you accountable? So you need to set this straight with someone you respect and trust. So over to the next question.
Hi, Fidi.
Yes, I'm here. So good with all the outlines that you have, made out for each and everyone to hear. But do we have anyone that has any question?
Not yet.
Okay.
Mm.
Like I would always say, let's put it in a business world. The SMART goals for a student is quite different from a SMART goal for a business person. They are two different things. But now let's look at it in the aspect of business. Because when we look at the community we have, the collaboration, community we find ourselves, it's more of entrepreneurship, women in our midst. And most of them are like, there were some things some people did last year that did not really, bring much sales to the business. And some are already giving up. Let me take my country, for example, now. There's no lights for some time. And all these factors will definitely affect the goals that's been set. There are some customers that like, I'll always use myself and as an example is because it's always easier for me to talk about. There are some recipes, that I've built. Unfortunately, my freezer just packed up. And I had a lot of, things that got wasted. Now, if there is no backup, or if there is no another recipe that I can work with, how would I be able to move on? So the kind of business you do, you really need to understand the kind of, business you find yourself, understand the do's and don'ts, so that when it's kind of getting negative, look for a positive, way out. So that when your customers are asking you, you would not be giving your customer a negative. No, it's not possible. Because you have a goal that you want to achieve. You want more customers, you want more sales. You can't hear me.
No, I am snapping my fingers for you. I'm saying
Okay,
yes,
all right.
yes.
You understand? You want more sales. And you just have to, you don't sit down on the loss. Ow, all these things, so many things got spoiled, but it would not put me down because I know I want to achieve more customers. I have a lot of products for me to put out there for them to, try it out. I'm like, oh no, we like this product. It's okay. So understand your niche, understand the kind of business you are venturing into, understand the environment, understand your customers. All these things are the smart goals we are talking about. It's not just about talking, it's not enough to talk about it, but it's a practical thing. If you don't put it into practice, you would not get it. It's not about, oh, I have read a lot of books, you understand, but you need to implement it. When you implement it, you see it working out for you. You write down those goals and you are conscious of it, that okay, this first one, I have done it. I really like last year, I was, talking to Julie about the website I, wanted to have, and I kept asking and asking her. She would tell me, this is nice and all that. Initially, I didn't have this in mind, but because I enrolled, there was an acceleration program that I enrolled in and I was part of. And this keep helping me to grow more in the business. So it's not enough for you to sit down and feel business is rosy. It is not. You have to go all out. Making a smart goal, you have to be efficient. It has to be effective. It needs to work out well for you to attain that goal. It might take a lot of time. You might have trials and error, but the end result is what matters. When you have that end result and people are like, no, 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 we saw her when she was growing it and the business has, that is what people don't want to know, your ups and downs. No, 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 no. The end result is what they want to see. And when they see the end result, like, I think I need to learn from this person. Yes, that is what we are talking about. If you don't, do you, there are times you have to get it wrong for you to get it right. If you don't get it wrong, you won't get it right. So there are a lot of mistakes, there are a lot of hurdles. The person that created Bob, he made it 999 times before he was able to, get it right. So you doing that mistake over and over, it's you getting more. So you have to work smartly this year. Don't look at the negativity. The negative should be the one you should push the negative out to have a positive one. That's why I always like Empress with the positivity she's always talking about, and she has actually influenced me with the positive. So I'm always being positive at all times, being positive. Over to you, Empress. Thank you.
Yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you. The positive thing, there's a saying that happiness is a choice. You have to choose to be happy. Nobody's going to make you happy. Nothing will make you happy. You have to choose and decide that I am going to be happy. And it's a goal as well, just like we're talking about the SMART goals, right? And I don't know, maybe I learned it differently, but I think Julie, measurable is what I knew to be like measurable goals can be tracked. So when you measure the goals, you're tracking the goals as you go. And the time bound is the one that you put a date on it. So if you look at I don't know, I think I've talked about this before. Nikolai Tesla, he has this theory of the 369. The 369 is when you write your goals 3 times in the morning, 6 times in the afternoon, and 9 times at night. And that basically puts it in your mind. And as you go on, it helps you become more clear on the goals that you want to achieve, right? And then you can date them. There's this actor, Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey, the comedian, he was on Oprah show and he talked about how for 3 years plus, he had a very old check that he wrote to himself. Was it $3 million or 3,000? I think $3 million, saying that one of the big Hollywood companies is going to pay him that for his role as an actor. And he walked around with that check for 3 years in his wallet. before he was able to achieve
Yeah.
that goal. Right. And I think that would be on the part of time bound, where sometimes you put a date on it and then it doesn't really work. I wanted to touch on something when Julie, you were explaining goals, because I came across this in the campus. We have a section for people who want to build brands, which is the section that I am in. And one of the videos prompts the students to make a video talking about their purpose, which is their goals.
Sorry, talking about their what? Sorry.
Hmm?
Talking about their what? I didn't get
Oh, no, I said,
that.
can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, yes, I can.
Yes. So I said the part where goals, when we talk about goals, because I came across this in our campus, which is the CC Plus AI campus, the content creation campus, where somebody, well, not one student, a number of students, there's a section where it tells them, because they want to build their brands, it asks them to make a video about their purpose, their life purpose, right? Which is a part of the goals, because you can only be able to clarify your purpose if you already have your goals set in your mind of what you want to achieve and what you want to do. One thing I realize is that a lot of people mistaken or don't understand the difference between their goals and what they like. Is that making sense?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
most people, and I'm just realizing that they don't understand that. When you ask them their goals, they start to tell you what they like. Oh, I like doing this. I like doing that. I like doing that. And I had to ask them, okay, we're not asking you what you like. We're asking you, why do you do the things you do? What is the purpose of your life? If you were to sit down and write the things that you want to achieve, what are you going to write? Right? So our goals is different from the things we like, or the things that we would like to do, or the hobbies that we have. The goals are basically, when you look at the future, your future self, spiritually, the way they call it, the person that you want to be, that person, what would that person be doing? And I had to explain that to the students, that the goals are different than the things that you do every day that you like. Now, when we come to the topic of businesses being negative and all these issues, most people find it very difficult to change, to flow with change, or to pivot, to tweak their business, even to tweak the goals. Because you can put a time on your goal and say that in the next 5 months, I'm going to achieve this. But what if you don't achieve it in the next 5 months? Are you just going to fall apart? Are you going to say you failed? Or are you going to pivot and change certain things? Right? There's a saying, don't change. I usually would write it. Don't change your plan, or don't change your goal. Don't change your goal. Change your plan.
Your
Right? The
plan.
plan that you did for 5 months and it didn't work, you tweak that plan and you put some other things in it, and you take out some other things that didn't work out. But again, if I go back to the idea of SMART goals, obviously write down the date, always have the date, or if we go deep in the spiritual realm, right? There's sometimes this saying where they say you put your intention out and you let it flow into the universe, and you're open-minded about it. You don't give it a time. Basically, you don't give the universe time, but you can also put a time to it. But a different perspective is you always have what you want at the back of your mind. Wherever you go, whatever you do, you have your goals at the back of your mind. It is written down on paper. What I usually do, I would have it on paper. I'll sometimes write it in a sticky note and have it in my purse. And then I would have a diary where I do the 369. And then I will have another notebook where when I just sit down and all these things are coming to me, I will just write them down. And most of the time I don't date my goals. But if you're conscious enough and you're just watching things unfold in your life, you would see the steps that the universe itself is making you take to get to the goal that you're going, which is the actionable steps, right? And when we talk about the car, when Julie was explaining the car about being realistic, I was like, what do you mean? It's not realistic. You don't need it now. But that can be a long-term goal. Say it's something that you know you need now. You want it now, but there are other things in the way. You have to pay your rent. You have to do other things. It can still be part of the short-term and the long-term goals. Let it be there. Let it be at the back of your mind. You go everywhere with it. You even go to the car lot and look at the cars that you want. You know the price of the car, the color, the mark, the make. You know everything about the car. This comes with a lot of belief and a lot of trust in whatever spiritual thing that you believe in, that it's going to happen no matter what. Is it realistic? No, it's not. But then if you look at it, there's nothing in the world that's realistic. It wasn't realistic for Steve Jobs to make the iPhone, where he said, I want to make a phone that is so sexy, you want to lick it. There was no realistic way because we were using the Nokia 3310. Before the Nokia, it was these huge phones. And before that, it was the computer that takes the whole room.
Mm.
And now my own phone, which is my favorite, the smallest iPhone, it's not much longer than this one. Right? Was it realistic? No, it's not realistic. Nobody was going to do that. The internet, the same thing. Artificial intelligence now, the same thing. Are they realistic?
Mm.
Now that brings in the idea, but why is it that they teach us these things in school for us to be realistic or be realistic? Even our parents and the teachers would say, you know, you
You have
can't,
to be realistic.
you can't do it. It's impossible.
Mm.
When actually the word impossible spells what? I am possible.
Mm.
So it is realistic. It's just we're just made to believe that it has to be something that you can do now. Even there are a lot of long-term goals that are actually short-term goals, right? Because in the spiritual realm, and I talk a lot about the spiritual realm, everything that we want is already here. We already have it. That is why it's in our mind. It's already here. The only reason that we don't get it because there are so many distractions, so many things telling us that we can't, so many things saying that we are not good enough, or us ourselves, the story that we tell in our mind saying that we are not good enough. So all of these things block us. Now, usually the work is to clear whatever is in our way that's stopping us from realizing that I am good enough for that car. I can have that car, be able to pay my bills, be able to get the home that I want, be able to go to the places that I want, and still be able to run my business. That I don't need all that negatives in it. But this is where the work is. It's not necessarily setting the goals, but these little things that are between us and the goals that make us believe we can't achieve the things that we want. Feedy? Oh, Juliet? Hello.
Wow, 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 wow. Let me give it to Julie.
Okay. So, about some goals, or I want to ask a question. You said goals are not realistic, or some goals are not realistic.
No, the idea that, like the example that you gave, right? When you gave the example of the car, all goals
Yeah.
are realistic. Even if
Yeah,
it's the idea of, I am going to have $1 million in 1 year, is realistic.
Yeah.
You might be living in the street right now, broke, as a joke, like they say it. But really, nothing is stopping you from getting that $1 million except whatever's in your mind and the idea that you have of yourself. So, what I was clarifying is that when it comes to making goals that are realistic, having goals that are realistic right now that you believe that you can have, that in itself is a block. That in itself is a block, because if you keep it just at that, that you believe that you can have, the belief can be a very small belief though. Because if you cannot pay your rent right now, you have no money right now, things are very hard right now, it shouldn't stop you from having that goal that you want that car that you want. Because how all of those things are going to come about might not even be the actionable steps that you put down. If you're a Christian, it's talked about. If you're a Muslim, it's talked about. If you're Buddhist, it is talked about how the universe works. Because you can write all these actions, but then the how it's going to happen, you never know.
Okay. So, yeah, nobody knows tomorrow, but it's actually nice to have plans and work with it, because when possibilities come and you don't have plan, you will be swiped off your feet and you start getting confused. Oh, what am I going to do now? Just take for instance, yeah. All of a sudden you just became so famous. Oh, no, 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 no. All of a sudden you just became the first lady out of nowhere. Your husband is the president, and you just become the first lady. You didn't even plan it, Or for instance, you're pregnant, you did not plan for twins, and you just realized you're having twins. So for me, I believe realistic goals can be achieved, like you talked about, and which is true. If anyone has achieved something you want to achieve, definitely it's attainable. Then even if that thing has never been done, you are gonna be the first person to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you go about this? You need to keep your mind strong. Because most times when we choose some goals that are bigger than our current state, it limits us from pushing further. Before I came to Ukraine, I have always had this mindset when I was much, much younger that I want to go out to study and I want to study for masters. Practically, for me, there was no such steps to achieve this thing. It was not attainable, but my mindset was made up, and it took me years before it came to pass. But I was just preparing myself, my mind, everything towards it. So when it came, I was so happy, but I was already prepared. So most times, what you really want to achieve that is so big, bigger than your current state, might scare you. But if you push towards it and put things, and like you said, the universe and God will make things happen. And boom, when it comes, you are prepared.
Mhm.
But don't be unprepared when it comes to knock at the door. That is the bad aspect of it. Because how will you do it?
Definitely, definitely. There's a saying that you cannot get rich without a plan.
So fading.
And apart from even getting the riches, you know, the thing is, when you even get the money, when the riches come and you don't have a plan for it, it overwhelms you.
Lottery winners.
Exactly.
Exactly. It overwhelms you because you never had a plan for it. You're like nothing for you to actually, ascertain that, okay, I have this dream. That's why I said most times when we write down the goals, it helps.
A
Some
lot.
people are not so good. Some people are not so good at writing some things down, but at least technology has made it easy for us. You can use your phone, write it down. You can write it on the tablet, save it somewhere, and that's you have your vision board and all that. You understand? Change. Change is inevitable.
Mm.
You have to, this is a constant thing, is a per second billing thing. You want to make it in life, even not in business. In life, it's like when growing up, when you look at some of your siblings, you look at some of them where they are, or some of your classmates that you went to school together. Do you know the irony of life that I, kind of checked out? When I was in the university then, I noticed there were some of my colleagues that were not so brilliant, so to say. I'm not saying they are not brilliant, but we have different levels. But do you know that over years, I later learned that most of those that are first class, that feels yes, they got it, are not even where those that had third class are. You understand? And you look at it and you're like, this life is not balanced. It's not as if it's not balanced. They had a goal. They were like, they relegated them, they have looked at themselves that, with this third class, where would I go? I need to step up my game.
To step up, yeah.
Those ones, that's why the Bible said the first shall be the last shall be the first. So it depends on you. It depends on you on how you want it to be. So, in a nutshell, your goals have to scare you. If your goal does not scare you, it would not push you. I want to have a bakery. I want to have a bakery. I worked in an organization where it was more of men. You understand? And getting to know some of these things, I was very good at it. They were always looking at me as like a threat.
Interesting.
But I made sure that I want to have my own bakery. I want to, do something differently. I want to teach people. I want them to see that you can do this. And here I am, I'm doing it. And I'm so happy. Thank you.
Interesting. This is powerful.
Yes,
So,
it's very true. The planning part especially, because a lot of people who have made it, even the people who we say that we look up to, most of them, if you ask them, they would say, I knew it was going to happen. And it's about being able to create your reality, which is we take it back, when we talk about content creation, that's what it's all about, being able to create your own reality, being able to create the life that you want, and take that and put it on camera and tell people these are the steps I'm taking to get to where I want to be, or the person that I want to be. So as things unfold, obviously there are things that will come and you didn't expect. And this is where we have to be okay with uncertainty. But most times when you ask people, they say, yeah, I'm not surprised. I knew it was going to happen because I wanted it to happen. So you create your reality. And this is what the goals do when you write them down, right? When you have them at the back of your mind. The how it happens, you might not know. But as it is happening and you're seeing it and it's unfolding and you're watching it happen, you're conscious about it, you will know that, yeah, I wanted that to happen. And look at it. It's happening now. Just what Phoebe said, what she's doing. She's doing it now. She wanted it to happen. She was ready for it to happen. But along the way, there's a journey that we all take to get to that part.
Process.
The process, right? It's the
Exactly.
process, the journey. There's no destination, but there's always a journey. The same way
Yeah.
that we are doing this. This is something I've always wanted to do. I knew I was going to do it. It didn't matter what I did, what other businesses I did, what other jobs I did, wherever I went, I knew that building a brand was something that I was going to do. And eventually for me, it was like, it didn't matter if I didn't have food to eat. It didn't matter if I don't have a place to stay. It didn't matter what it was. I am going to build this brand no matter what, because I saw myself doing it before I even knew how to do it. It's a goal that has always been there. I would write it, tear the paper, throw it away, burn it. But at that point, I didn't even know the power of writing down goals and burning even the goals that you write down, letting the ashes go into the universe. So basically, you're sending it out there saying, this is my goal and it's going to happen. I didn't know that was a thing until eventually I came across people doing it. I'm like, oh, I've done that so many times. I had no idea what I'm doing. Right? So that preparation, there's even a quote. I love quotes about that. They said luck is preparation meeting opportunity.
It's opportunity, yeah.
Right? So it's preparing for so long, and then bam, you have the opportunity, but you were already prepared for that opportunity. Why? Because for a long time, you've had the plan, you've had the idea, you've written it down, you're ready for it, even though mentally you don't think you're ready for it. That has happened to me, where I've been working on something and mentally I don't think I'm ready for it. And then it comes and I'm like, oh, I'm actually ready for this. That happens as well. We have a message.
Yeah. I think our battery is almost down, so I think it should be a wrap.
No. Plug it in the air. Let it charge in the air.
So that the air would see that, yes, this is what you have set for yourself.
Yes.
So that the energy helps you to achieve it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Julie, please check your chat. I think I need to be exiting.
Yeah. I think it's a wrap now because actually the three of us and it's almost 1 hour. So guys, thank you. Thank you so much. So next one is gonna be Wednesday in case those who are interested. What day?
Yes, so the goal is to do this every 2 weeks, at least twice a month, twice every month.
Okay.
So today we did it the 25th, the 15th. The next one
15th.
that we said we were going to do was on the 25th, but then we had to confirm. We have to confirm.
I won't be available on the 25th for live session. It's our anniversary,
So we need to.
be off. Yeah, I need to
Oh,
date.
Ooh. So we need to confirm the date, but also make sure that we can post about it at least a week before to
Okay,
give
great.
people time to know. So just
yeah.
with this week we can start that preparation of confirming, the best times for all three of us to come together.
Okay, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Uh,
Empress. Thank you, Julie. I really
yeah,
enjoyed the
thank you.
time.
Thank
All
you
right
so
now,
much. And
bye.
yeah,
Bye bye.
bye. Bye.